So we've looked at how to factor expressions. Now what we're going to do is use that factoring to help us solve quadratic equations. So our first step in anything we're going to do now is to make sure our equation is equal to 0. Then we're going to use our last unit to factor. If necessary, every once in a while it will be factored for us. Then we're going to set each expression equal to 0 and solve each equation. What we're going to be using mathematically to do this is something called the zero product property, which just says if two expressions multiplied together equal 0, then you can set each of the expressions equal to 0. Mathematically, that means if A times B is 0, then either A equals 0 or B equals 0. If I multiply 5 times a number and get 0, I know that number has to be 0. That's what we're using. So let's look at the first example on your page to know what this is going to look like. It says solve x squared minus x minus 6 equals 0. So my first step says to make sure the equation is set equal to 0. Yes, that's done. Then it says to factor if necessary. How many terms do I have? 3, and A is 1, so that means that I'm going to use the x factor. So I draw my x, negative 6, negative 1, it multiplies to negative 6 and adds to negative 1, should be negative 3, and 2, so my factored form would be x minus 3 times x plus 2, and that equals 0. Next it says to set each expression equal to 0, so that means I need to set x minus 3 equal to 0, and I need to set x plus 2 equal to 0. And finally, I need to solve. So when I solve, I get that x equals 3, x equals negative 2. I just added 3, subtracted 2. Sometimes you'll see this as negative 2, comma 3 in those brackets we used back with domain and range. Or I might just see it as x equals 3, x equals negative 2. Either way. Let's look at one that is slightly more complicated. Solve x squared plus 2x equals 8. My first step says to make sure it's equal to 0. Is this equal to 0? No, it's equal to 8. So I need to get everything on the same side. Usually I want to keep my x squared positive, so that means I need to subtract an 8 from both sides. But there's not anything that my 8 can combine with, so it just becomes x squared plus 2x minus 8 equals 0. And why did I put that number at the end? Just so that it looks like something we have factored before. I want to put in standard form. Then I see, how can I factor this? Well, I have 3 terms. A is 1, so I'm going to use my x factor. What multiplies to negative 8 and adds to 2? 4 and negative 2. So my factored form would be x plus 4 times x minus 2 equals 0. Then I set each expression equal to 0. Literally, you write down what's in the parentheses, equals 0. Write down what's in parentheses, equals 0. And we solve. So I got x equals negative 4 or x equals 2. Once again, we can write that in our brackets as negative 4, comma 2. Just make sure you aren't writing it in parentheses. Okay, flip over to the back of your notes. Now, I don't know why, but this is the number 1 missed question. One's like this. N squared plus 5n equals 0. First step, make sure it's set equal to 0. Check. Next step is to factor. And what's the first thing you should look for? A GCF. But you say there's nothing that goes into 1 and 5. Well, there's nothing that goes into 1 and 5. But look, both of these have an N. So that means that I can take out an N, or divide by N. And remember when we did stuff with GCF, we could put it in the box. Put our GCF, we said, is N. What times N is N squared? N. Plus what times N is 5N? 5. So this would factor to N parentheses N plus 5 equals 0. Now I need to set each expression equal to 0. And most of us will see that I have an N plus 5 to set equal to 0. But what have I not taken care of? N. So what am I supposed to do with that? Just write N equals 0. And all it means is when I get to this next step where I'm supposed to solve, this one is done. The end, amen. This one I need to solve and get N equals negative 5. So my two options are negative 5 or 0. And think about it. If I plug in 0 to my original equation, I would have 0 squared plus 5 times 0 equals 0. 0 squared is 0 plus 5 times 0 is 0. Does that equal 0? Yes. Okay, don't forget about your 0. When we talk about graphs next week, it will be very important. And this last one is one of the easiest examples you'll see. 3x minus 2 times x plus 4 equals 0. Is it set equal to 0? Yes. Is it factored? Yes, that's what it means when I have these two things being multiplied together. So now all I need to do is set each factor equal to 0. 3x minus 2 equals 0. X plus 4 equals 0. And we solve. This is going to be a two-step equation. Add 2. So I get 3x equals 2. And divide by 3. Oh no, it's a fraction. It's okay, just leave it. Subtract 4. I get x equals negative 4. So my answer is negative 4 or 2/3. What I'd like you to do is hit the pause button and try working through the 4 problems at the bottom. Try working through the 4 problems at the bottom. They're all very similar to examples we've done. Once you've done that, then go through and check your answers with the video. So you should have pressed pause before you watch this, because I'm just going to walk through these really quick. Okay, I'm already set equal to 0. I'm already factored, so what I need to do is set each of my factors equal to 0. So with my blue one, the first thing I need to do is add 3. So that would give me 4z equals 3, and then divide by 4. So z equals 3 over 4. It's a fraction. Leave it. It's okay. With the z plus 5 equals 0, I need to subtract 5, so I get z equals negative 5. Final answer is negative 5, or 3 over 4. If you got that, awesome. Next one. This is a lot like the third example we did. M squared plus 4m equals 0. Do I have a GCF? Yes, there is an m in both or all of my terms. So that means if I factored it, I would have m times m plus 4 equals 0. Set each factor equal to 0. And solve. And remember, they should be the easiest ones because my m equals 0 is already solved. All I need to do is subtract 4 and get m equals negative 4, giving me a final answer of negative 4, 0. Next, this is like the first one we did. Z squared minus 4z minus 21 equals 0. Is it set equal to 0? Yes. Is it factored? No. Okay. Do I have a GCF? No. How many terms? 3. Is A 1? Yes. So I need to use my X. So what multiplies to negative 21 and adds to negative 4? That would be negative 7 and 3. So factored form would be z minus 7 times z plus 3 equals 0. Set each factor equal to 0. Solve. Z equals 7. Z equals negative 3. So my final answer is negative 3, 7. Remember, don't put it in parentheses. Put it in brackets. And the last one, which is our challenge question for the day. 3k squared plus 17k equals negative 10. Is it set equal to 0? No, there's this negative 10 over here. How do I get rid of a negative 10? I need to add 10 to both sides, which would give me 3k squared plus 17k plus 10 equals 0. All I did was add 10 to both sides. Once again, I put that at the end because that's where it goes in standard form. Now I need to factor. Do I have a GCF? No, there's nothing that goes into 3, 17, and 10. Then I say, how many terms do I have? 3. Is A 1? No, so I need to use the X box. And this is one of those cases where I would go ahead, draw your X, draw your box so you don't forget it once we've done all this work. So to do the X box, I need to multiply 3 times 10, 30, and put the 17 at the bottom. So it multiplies to 30 and adds to 17. 15 and 2, and then we need to fill in our box. 3k squared goes first, 10 goes last, and then these other ones go on the diagonal. I need to take out my GCF, which would be 3k, 2k, and 5. Check that your multiplication works. K times 3k gives me 3k squared. K times 2 gives me 2k. 5 times 3k is 15k. 5 times 10, or 5 times 2 is 10. Okay, that's good. I know my answer is right then, and I haven't gone on and done my problem with it all wrong. So 3k plus 2 times k plus 5 equals 0. Set each factor equal to 0. So 3k plus 2 equals 0. K plus 5 equals 0. If I solve, I need to subtract 2. 3k equals negative 2. Divide by 3. K equals negative 2 over 3. Subtract 5, and I get k equals negative 5. So my answer is negative 5, comma negative 2 over 3. There you go. Feel free to go back and watch any of those that you need to.